Hello YouTubers, I'd like to present some arguments for atheism. Now on YouTube there are a lot of discussions about between atheists and believers, and these are usually quite polemical and actually turn quite nasty usually, and it's usually a shouting match between the two sides. I don't think this is a very helpful approach, and personally I don't at all think that anybody who believes in God is stupid. Don't see them as my enemy. I see them as a fellow human being who I can talk calmly with and rationally with. Somebody called P. Doman, who's sent, that's P. Doman is another YouTuber, it's P-D-O-E-M-A-N. You can look up his videos, and he's, I think his approach is good because he wants to bring out the question of the existence of God out into the open and say, let's argue rationally about it. And he adds that very often many religious people are brought up with their religious belief, in a religious belief, and they never really question it deeply. And I think that's right. I think that's we should start with that. But I think there is a problem with this approach, or at least it's just the first step, I would say. We need to go further with our arguments for atheism. And this is because that I don't believe that religious belief is the same as other beliefs. We can have the idea that, well, they believe in God, that God exists, and so we can argue as if God were just like an object, like any other objective belief. But if you start talking to a religious believer, you might start on this kind of rational level with arguments saying, well look, we've got Darwin has come along and proved that man has evolved and man wasn't created by God, and all these kind of rational arguments. But I think when you continue the argument, after a while the religious believer will just say, well, it's just something I feel, and I feel it because I feel it. I know it. I know it because I feel it. And evangelists will say, "Well, open your heart." It's that's the problem with atheists. They have their heart is closed. They're closed to this experience of religious belief. And I think it's on this level that we need to counter religious beliefs and any arguments that they'll produce for them. And so what I have here is just a few arguments to start off with for atheism. What we can say to the atheist, first of all, and first point, is that the strength of your belief is no guarantee of its truth. In history, people have believed all kinds of bizarre things, like the white race was superior to the other races. People have believed that, continue to believe that there are many gods. People have believed that communism will triumph, and all kinds of things very deeply and sincerely. And yet these are absolutely no guarantees to their truth, as has been proved in some cases. So that's the first point. Strength of belief is absolutely no guarantee of the truth. The kind of emotional investment that you put into a belief doesn't guarantee its truth. Second point is that any subjective experience that you have is no guarantee of anything, the reality of anything that's outside that experience. We're all very familiar with the phenomenon of hallucinations, and when somebody sees a hallucination, they really believe in it very strongly, and they'll act accordingly, react accordingly. That doesn't prove having a particular subjective experience. Okay, with hallucinations I talked about a perceptual experience, but we can extend this to emotional experiences. And why does the fact that you have a particular emotion why does that prove that there's anything except this emotion that you have? So that's the second point. And third and final point then is really results from the particular nature of religious belief. Now, in religious belief, in particular in monotheistic belief, the religious believer sees that there is a powerful being over him who's there, who will protect him, love him, and so on. And here, I think there's a discipline that can help us here, which is the discipline of psychoanalysis. In 1927, Sigmund Freud wrote a short essay on the subject of religion called The Future of an Illusion. The title obviously speaks for itself. Copy here. The Future of an Illusion. Now, this is a French edition, but you can find it in English very easily and in other languages, obviously. And what Freud said was that religious belief results from the fact that as very small children we feel helpless, and so that we need to feel that there is a protective being or beings over us, and this is of course our parents. And so this feeling that we have in early childhood is something that can continue into later life, and so we can still have this very strong desire, very strong wish for there to be a being over us who's looking after us, who's protecting us. And this is so strong, in fact, that it creates the feeling that there is something there. And so in this sense, before I talked about hallucinations, well, in this sense you can say that from this point of view, God would be an emotional hallucination. And there are perceptual hallucinations, so why shouldn't there be an emotional hallucination? Now, I'm not at all an expert on psychoanalysis. I know later developments might be also used to support this argument and maybe develop it in a slightly different way, but I think psychoanalysis, as my third point, can be very useful for talking about the phenomenon of religious belief. So that's it really. I think I'm running out of time. So I'll leave it there. I hope that's thought-provoking at least, and I'd like to hear from other people on this, in particular people who have specialist knowledge of psychoanalysis and how that can help us understand religious belief.